Hi, Pete Moore, Mart TV. We've got a treat for you today from Raytrade, the Remington importers. We have a new offering from the Remington 700 series. The gun, as you can imagine, is the same old Remington 700, but this is a heavy target barrel. But the thing that is really exciting is this new chassis system stock from a company called WOOX, WOOX, who are out of Manelli, the Italian people that make all the stocks for air guns and everything else. But it's really exciting. It's a bit of a Marmite thing. Some people don't like the look of it, some people do, but I've shot this thing and played with it, and believe you me, forget the looks. It is a really comfortable piece of furniture. So let's look a bit more detail. Raytrade's provided this as a complete package, you can see, so I will mention what we've got as well. This is their Evolve 30 cal moderator to reflex design. Pretty well priced for what they are. I've used them before. I use one of my guns, they're fine. This leads on to what I call the heart of the gun, which is a 24-inch barrel. OD at the front is 0.834 inches, and OD at the reinforce at the rear is 1.212. It's 1 in 8 twist because it's 6.5 Creedmoor, and it's their 5R rifling, which is really good. It doesn't, like normal 6 land rifling, the bullet is potentially more crushed. With 5 land, the lands and the grooves are opposite each other rather than land to land, groove to groove, and it's easier on the bullet. And I've found through testing a number of Remingtons with this barrel system that they shoot like hell. You can pull a 1/4 inch with decent match ammo with a 6.5, not a problem. Right, we come down to the chassis, which is very interesting. It's not, the wood is there, it's not for decoration, it's just that they've done it differently because Manelli are trying to produce sort of more of a, I don't know what the word is, a bit more bespoke type artisanal design, which is quite nice. But the heart of the stock is a 661 aluminium alloy chassis. As you can see here, this looks like polymer, it's not, it's all aluminium. And there's a bar that goes up the front that supports the fore end. The fore end is a bit of a sort of a ironic because it's wood, very pretty wood, very nice wood, and it's got M-LOK adapters on it, which is just weird. Also supplied by Raytrade is a Javelin ProTac bipod in an M-LOK adapter. Raytrade handle the Javelin Spartan products for the UK. Moving back, we have the standard 700 action, as we all know and love. It comes as a floor plate system. This is how they all come for the sporters. Rounds go in the top. When you want to unload, you don't have to rank them through the gun. You just press your hand underneath, press the plate, and they all come falling out. Also, I looked on the WOOX website, and they offer a Hawkins M5 detachable bottom metal replacement. So basically, that will give you the compatibility of AICS magazines, which is great. Most people I know, including myself, run their sort of precision type heavier guns with an AICS box mag, so that's fine and dandy. But you get it with the standard floor plate. That's entirely up to you what you want to do with it. The bolt action is identical. Good old 3 rings of steel Remington, twin locking up front. All they've done here is extend the bolt by putting on a tapered knob. And again, this is what they do with these heavy barrel guns. And again, in use, I find there's a bit more to get hold of. I run a 700 hunting rifle, and I just keep the flat standard bolt, it's fine. But when you're sort of downrange, targets coming up, if you're shooting precision rifles like disciplines, then a bit more to get hold of is excellent. The safety is again the old standard. It's a rolling lever, which gives you safe at the rear with bolt operation, which is nice, and forward to fire. Trigger is the new improved one. It's quite heavily curved, quite broad, and in there is a little tiny set screw that allows you to adjust the weight. They've moved it on from the older trigger system, and is what you get. But you can get a gunsmith to tweak your trigger, or you can get a drop-in trigger kit to fit. Up top we have in a tally Picatinny mount and tally rings. We have a GPO Evolve scope. It's a 3.5 to 18 by 56 illuminated. With under these caps are sort of more target type turrets. Got side focus, and it's got illumination. But very much, this is pretty much a standard gun. But we get to the back here, and this is the the jewel in the crown of the WOOX stock. As you can see, this is the aluminium again. Underneath is a Picatinny rail which is removable, so you could put a monopod in the back, a grip, or you could run it off a bag by taking the pick off. Adjustment. The push button controls are so smooth. You press, pull, length of pull, you get approximately an inch. You get 13.5 to 14.5 overall length of pull from the trigger, which is more than adequate. It just locks in the thread. Really nice, just very smooth. A couple of things. The butt pad, recoil pad, is adjustable for height. This is sliding, you lock it in with an Allen key, but basically I had it set up like this because I like the gun high on my shoulder. You can also get an additional recoil, an optional additional recoil pad system where you can rotate the pad like you see on the air guns, some of the air guns that many stocks do. Again, you can do that nice. You can also get more spacers to push the length to pull however you want it. It's just there. This is what it comes out of the box with, which is, I found, quite adequate. The comb, again, is very, very nice. Same system. Smooth up and down, which it is. This gives you approximately an inch of height, which is more than enough. Cleverly, WOOX have allowed you to unscrew a plate underneath here, and you can move this whole comb piece forward and back. I find that most height adjustable combs that don't allow this facility, I find my head is too far forward on the comb, and they have the ability to have it pushed forward so you can really get your cheek nicely supported without slipping off the end, is very good indeed. But it's a really nice handle, it really is. It just sits there like this, much there, easy to adjust from the firing position, and they've done a cracking job on this, they really have. But here is something that I didn't expect, and it's this. The butt comes off if you want to have a compact package. It's quite clever, I suppose. You can really get the length down, and also, I suppose, you could call it a safety feature. The rifle's almost useless without the butt, but it's something they do. I don't see it as a gimmick. It's just they've looked at what everybody else does and decided maybe there's a different way of doing things. So this goes on like that. Locks in. You get a single QD swivel that goes into these sockets here, and obviously you could get an M-LOK socket swivel up front. It's entirely up to you. Stock on its own weighs 4.5 pounds, and the rifle bare-backed, as in no scope, no bipod, no moderator, weighs 11 pounds 2 ounces. I didn't like the look, but I tell you what, after shooting this thing and generally playing with it, I could put up with this all day long, because it is a damn good chassis stock, it really is. I'd probably go for the black one rather than the brown one. But yeah, that is what I could call the Remington 700 / WOOX Furiosa rifle stock system. This chassis rifle comes at $1999, given the version of Remington, because this will fit a number of Remingtons. The WOOX rifle chassis on its own is £1,235, which is about the same as the automatic stock we looked at from Jackson Rifles a few videos ago. Inlets available: Remington 700, Tikka T3, Howler 1500, and of all things a Sauer 100, which is quite nice. Colours are walnut, which is this, and midnight grey, which is basically like a very dark grey black. We are going off to the 800 metre range, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it on steel to see what it really does, and I don't think it's going to disappoint. Very kindly, Raytrade supplied some rather nice ammo. It's Barnes, who else? Precision Match, and it's a 140 grain hollow point boat tail. I checked out on the website, and this is going out at an advertised 2,700 feet per second. Hey. Creedmoor, Mart TV, with my cohort Ed Jackson. We've finished shooting this Remington 700 WOOX stock. You've seen the video, what we're doing with it. And as Ed was the guy that did most of the actually testing, I'm going to ask him about his feelings on it and his views, and then I'm going to cut him when he's finished. So Ed, take it away.
Well, I'll get the excuses done first. So we decided to shoot it on probably one of the hottest days we've had.
It was a little bit steamy.
Yeah, it was a bit steamy. So we had some quite challenging conditions with a left to right wind because it was on a very open sort of range, and then some really bad mirage, making it actually quite hard to see the gong, just sort of this sort of blur down range. But other than that, straight out of the box, I chronographed the Barnes precision match, and then we just, with Strelok, just dialed it in, and we were straight on target. So that's always nice when you're just, straight away at 300 metres, we were hitting the gong just to prove the data, and then we moved back to 500 metres, and we were getting consistent hits on the gong, except when I missed. Due to the conditions, which were...
But saying that, looking times at the other end, and okay, we had the mirage, we had the wind, which was affecting aiming accuracy, but if you notice, some of those hits are coming down and they're hitting next to each other. Okay, they did drift, and that's due to conditions, but I believe on a good day, we would have been whacking that thing in the centre and just be a mass in one bit. So yeah, it's down to conditions, really.
Yeah, and it's a testament really to the Remington 700. I mean, we've had 3 or 4 of these on test in different guises. One with the HS Precision, you tested one with the
Magpul Hunter stock.
I tested the Precision chassis rifle, the PCR one, which I shot out to 800 in Wales, and all of them with the precision match ammo, or any match ammunition really, has performed very well. So. So the rifle and the actual barreled action is tried and tested.
And I've got to say, we've tested these. It's 5R rifling in 6.5 Creedmoor. This is new, so it hasn't quite run itself in yet. But we were pulling 1/4-inch groups with some of those rifles. And if you're looking, forget the chassis for a minute, although it's important. If you're looking for an action from a manufacturer in 6.5 or a similar high active caliber, that's going to do the business. 24-inch midweight tube, 5R rifling. I really think it's hard to beat on what is a very proven action.
Yes, and behind the rifle, and taking the stock into account, it's a very ergonomic system. I mean, it's very easy to consistently get into the same position. I mean, I was shooting off a bonnet, which is never ideal because it flexes and things, but I was able to get on and off the rifle and just be hitting again and again. So that it scores points. Then obviously with my height and everything, you've got all the adjustment in the world, so that's nice. Overall, I found it quite enjoyable. I think I would like to see on the pistol grips. I think there's the opportunity to have sort of a bit more, because it's ambidextrous basically. But there's actually the opportunity to maybe favour either left or right hand use and offer maybe a swelled palm swell or something. I think that would be a nice addition.
Yeah, I concur, because this is, though it's not a sporter grip, it's more of a sporter grip. And when you're looking at other stuff like GRS, Bifrost, things like that, the grips are much more anatomical, and they do allow the hand a lot more sort of control. And colour-wise, I just don't like the wood. That's stupid, it means nothing, but I was going to go for a darker colour, and I thought maybe a synthetic option might have more appeal to certain people, because with the M-LOK furniture on a wooden stock, I'm not laughing at it, it's just like, no, this is not right, this is walnut, this is M-LOK, and that's just purely a cosmetic thing. But
it's a Marmite.
Yeah,
system,
very much so.
But I really appreciate where they're going with it, because there will be an audience who just hate plastic. We know several people hate plastic, hate aluminium, and they want, especially the contact points, i.e. cheap pistol grip bound forehand, which you touch your hands. They'd like them with wood. So this is a definitely angled towards those kind of people.
And as is Manelli, they're the masters of wooden stocks. I mean, it wouldn't take them long to, excuse my crudity, knock up something with what we talked about, because it wouldn't be knocked up, it'd be perfect. From my point of view as well, I like the fact that the comb can be moved forward about an inch or so, because I tend, most combs for me, they stop there and you're sort of dropping off on where, so you can put it forward, it's quite nice. And I do think that Remington / WOOX have missed a trick by not doing the gun with a box mag as standard. There's an option, but I've got a 700 and it's got a standard floor plate magazine. Fine for hunting, 4 in, we're done. But when down the range, you can have fun with this rifle, you're going to push it. So 5 and 10 shot box mags are the way to go, and I'd be happy to pay a little bit more for that from the box.
Yeah, I agree. Straight away I put that on. I wouldn't even entertain the idea of floor plate if I was doing my long range stuff. The other thing is the trigger does need a bit of adjusting. I mean, out of the box it was pretty heavy, and when you're it's not hard to shoot it, but it just takes a little bit longer to release the shot, and when you're waiting, when the wind lulls or whatever, and you're trying to shoot in that spot and time your breathing and your trigger pull to that, it just hangs a bit too long. So definitely I would wind that right down and get it sort of tuned up a bit. But other than that, it's perfectly capable, but I've been spoiled with various other...
But for me, the trigger is capable, I quite agree. But I do not like this external adjuster here, because depending on how you set it up for yourself, as you can see here, it is actually sort of proud by about 1/8 inch, and I find that I'm there with it. The way I shoot, that little set screw is rubbing on top of my trigger finger, and I just don't like it, especially under recoil. I mean, it doesn't hurt, it's just something that doesn't need to be there. There must be another way of doing it. I understand why Remington moved away from the Walker trigger to this. It's a liability trigger, to put it bluntly, and I understand that. But for such a nice rifle, the trigger's fine, but there's a few points that you think, we could just change that a little bit, wouldn't that be perfect? Yeah. But so overall, I quite agree with you. I mean, we've got no problems with the action. It's superb, it shoots. And though I would never buy this sort of stock, I actually like it in terms of what it offers, because as you say, it does exactly what it should do. And it's not, so of course it's not cheap, it's about what, 12 and a half roughly, but then again the automatic stock's about the same, which we looked at a few videos ago, and you start getting into proper chassis systems, as you know better than I do, and you are probably forking out $1,000 before you start really getting around it. And this is what you're going to have to pay. If you want a good rifle with a handle that allows you to shoot to your absolute ability, if not better, then you've got to think of a chassis system. You really have. But yeah, I like it. I think the overall package obviously doesn't include the modding and the scope, but the overall package is, I think, 1,900, which when you consider what you're getting out of it, and ironically the stock is more expensive than the action, for 2K, let's call it 2K, you are getting one hell of a shooting system. Yes. And that you can take that to the bank. You really are. But yeah, so that's the rifle. Ed and I had a great day, and look forward to a few more of these perhaps more in-depth sort of think tanks about what we're doing. So it's Pete Moore and Ed Jackson signing off. See you later.
See ya.